Hi everyone, welcome back to the homestead. Well, this is not my homestead. John and I are actually visiting some family in Phoenix, and I wanted to introduce you guys to my niece, Emily, who's awesome and amazing, and who has amazing dreams for her property, which is an urban home, and she's going to create an urban homestead. She's recently moved to this property, and her backyard is really just a blank slate. So I want her to kind of give you guys a little bit of a tour of what her backyard looks like, the things that she's already done, and what she has planned for the future. So Emily, tell us a little bit about what we have here behind us.
Yes, I have just a couple of planter boxes full of winter greens. So I have some red romaine lettuce that exploded. It was not this tall less than a week ago. I have some butter lettuce, some spinach, some bell pepper, and then behind me I have red and green kale, a bunch of celery, and some broccoli that have finally started to sprout.
That's awesome. Really cool. And when did you plant all of this stuff? When did you start it?
Yeah, I started all of the lettuce, the kale, and the celery late November.
Okay.
And then I've added the spinach and the bell pepper last month.
Okay, nice. So this is more your winter, your winter plants. So I understand that you guys had a freeze here in the Phoenix area not too long ago.
Right.
What did you do? Did these things do okay during the freeze?
I didn't do anything with them. They did great in the freeze. Yeah.
But you have a tiny little greenhouse that you move some of the stuff to, right?
Yeah, more of my tropicals and my sapling trees I stuffed in the greenhouse. It was overflowing. I couldn't move at all in there.
That's cool. So show me what you have going on in your greenhouse.
Sure. So this is my greenhouse. I've put a lot of my tropical plants in here. Right in front we have an olive that I pulled out this morning as it was getting a little toasty inside, and they actually do pretty well. They need some good chill hours for them to be able to produce any kind of fruit. But we have lemon balm as well as chocolate mint and spearmint on the sides. We have an heirloom breed of Cherokee purple tomatoes, a passion fruit vine, papyrus that may or may not survive. There's still some green fruiting leaves in there, but what's beautiful about this plant is I can shred it down and turn it into some homemade paper. I have a goji berry plant, also known as wolfberry, which is a superfood. Their berries are a little bit bitter, but they're great on salads or smoothie bowls. And then I have 3 banana saplings that are blue Java bananas. So they're blue, the inside's white, but they taste like ice cream, vanilla ice cream. So I'm excited to see how they do and how they survive through our summer, and if I can get one of them to fruit. But yeah, that's my greenhouse.
So I see that you also have a couple of trees here behind me. Do you want to tell me a little bit about what these are?
Yeah, so these are both mulberry mulberry please. These are mulberry trees. This one right next to us is a black dwarf, black beauty mulberry tree, and then the one to our right is a Florida giant mulberry tree, which is funny because it's smaller, but the leaves are massive when it's flowering. But these, as I've heard, do really well in Arizona sun. They love the sun, and they grow multiple feet a year. So you have to be really diligent about pruning them.
So how big do these get? Do you know?
So the dwarf will get, to my understanding, 5 to 7 feet, and the giant can get up to 15 feet, but you can prune it down to a bush if you don't want it that tall.
So just to let you know, I actually have a couple of mulberry trees, and one of them, the black mulberry, will actually get to up to about 40, 50 feet.
Oh, I love that.
So
even
when you say
dwarf?
I don't have a dwarf. I have a white mulberry tree, and that one will get to about 20 feet, and that's our small one. So when you said giant, I was just wondering, like, how big is this giant tree? Because giant trees in Texas, where I am, is a lot different than giant trees here in Phoenix, Arizona.
I love that. Does it still produce really good fruit even at that height?
Yes, a lot of really good berries.
That's cool.
You know, they're mostly for the birds because people can't get to them. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Of course. So you had told me also that you plan on getting some chickens in here, right? And maybe putting in some garden beds and putting some vegetables. I mean, obviously you have a great start and your little garden beds there, but your idea is to do a lot more of that in this blank slate of a backyard that you have. So what are your plans for that?
Yeah, so back in this corner over here, it's very sloped right now, but I would love to even it out with some of these tree holes that I'm digging right now, even it out, and eventually put my chicken coop over there.
Okay.
And have a nice good 10-foot or so run for them and start small and expand.
Yeah. How many chickens are you thinking about getting?
No more than like 7-ish.
That's a good start.
Yeah. To start out with maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah. Have you thought about a specific breed or just kind of play it by ear?
I would love an Easter egger.
Yeah.
I've heard that Marins do really good out here.
Okay.
Americanas do really good out here. White Leghorn, I don't like them as much, but they do well out here. There's another breed as well, Black Star, that I've heard do really well out here. And Barred Rock.
Yes.
So I'm thinking about a Barred Rock, Easter egger, and maybe one of those other breeds.
So what I've learned from actually watching someone else's YouTube channel, because he had some Barred Rock chickens and his Barred Rocks were attacking the other ones. They
nice.
do not like other breeds. So just kind of keep that in mind, do a little bit of research about different breeds and how they interact with other breeds. They may or may not do well together.
Sweet. I love that.
I've learned some hard lessons about my chickens, especially this season. So what do you plan on doing back here behind us?
Yeah, so it's a really big space over on the side over here. But the problem with this area is in the summer, it is full sun the entire summer. There's not a whole lot of shade. So before I really start the garden that I want to start, I need to put some really good shade trees that kind of nurture the smaller trees a little bit, provide a little shade. So I want to put some moringa in the back corner over here. Have you heard of the moringa tree before?
I've not. Does it produce any kind of fruit?
So the entire tree is edible, from the bark to the seed pods, and it's a drought tolerant and freeze tolerant tree. But they're growing them all over different third world countries right now because it's one of the only plants that produces a very high protein content. And so areas that don't have a lot to eat, they'll pull these pods off the tree and get a little protein in their diet.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's
so you will see a moringa tree on our homestead probably in the very near future.
I'm obsessed with them right now. But I would love to put maybe 2 out in the corner, grow them really tall, and then put some of these tropicals out in that area.
Very good.
Yeah.
I am so excited to see what you're going to do with this place over the next couple of years. It'll probably be about that long before we're out in this area, but it has so much potential, and I love your ideas. And I'm excited to see what you do. Good for you. Go girl.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this inspires you that no matter where you live, even if you live in an apartment and you just have a little bit of a terrace that you want to put some vegetables in a couple of flower pots, you can absolutely do that. Or maybe you have a little bit of an urban home and just a small backyard, but you want to develop it, put in some garden planters, maybe a couple of fruit trees. Why not a moringa tree, right? Hopefully this inspires you that wherever you are, you can have your own little homestead and you can do a lot in just whatever the space it is that you have. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.